Yes, yes. Welcome, welcome to a very special episode of Free Somali Minds. Um, this is not a regular time, folks, and I know that. However, there's special circumstances, and today we have a very very special guest that I wanted to bring up and have a conversation with. In my journey, I just wanted to kind of say this in my journey of ever since I started this podcast and even beforehand, I've been in I kind of like to have like-minded people, and especially when they're from my background, when they're Somalis, and that's who I seek out because I feel that the internet should reunite us. And today, distance doesn't mean much as long as we have a Wi-Fi connection. We're able to speak to each other and we're able to connect and build. And so I was fortunate enough. Anyways, it was my YouTube feed that just kind of brought this channel up to me. It was a channel by a lovely young lady named Nagad, and it was amazing. I watched some of her content. I absorbed a lot of the things that she was saying. I um I just looked at everything that she was posting and the frequency she was on and energy and and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I truly felt the spirit of the ancestors speaking through this young sister. So I want to just basically, without further ado, because I'd much rather be talking to her than talking to the air. I want to welcome Nagad to the stream. Nagad, can you hear me? Is the sound good? Is
Yes,
everything
I can hear you.
good?
Everything's perfect. I can hear
Mm,
clearly.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Is this one of the first ones that you're doing in terms of streams?
Yeah, yeah, it's my first one.
That's
I mean, I've
awesome.
had podcasts myself and I have one with my husband, like right
Hmm.
now, but I've
Right.
never done it with someone else.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I'm honored. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
Yeah, thank you for
Uh,
inviting me. I was sending that signal out there. I'm like, I want change in my life, so I need to do something different and I need to challenge myself. So,
wow.
although this is nerve-wracking, like this is very nerve-wracking for me,
No, it
I know
shouldn't
it's
be.
up, but
Yeah.
it'll be good for my growth. So I'm excited to overcome this obstacle.
Growth happens outside our comfort zone, right? We know that.
Exactly. Yep.
So that's dope. So, like I was saying, I came across your channel, not even that long ago. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. And it was YouTube that just threw this at me, believe it or not. And I watched a few of your videos, but the one that actually was thrown at me was the one where you were speaking about WAP. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I got teary eyed, kind of seeing a
Yeah.
Somali person
Oh, okay.
finally, like, essentially kind of getting on that frequency.
Wow.
Um, you know what I mean? And to me, it's kind of like it was, because when you're walking your journey, a lot of times it's very lonely, right?
Very lonely. Long
As
hours
so,
at night on in your like in
exactly.
front of your laptop and
Yes,
yeah.
but especially as Somalis, right? And I know a bit of your story
Hmm.
because I've watched some of your Oh, I want to welcome Miss Moose. I think that's one of your ladies. Michael, welcome, welcome. This is some of the peeps that are joining us right now. And please, guys, go ahead and share it. Have more people join us. And yeah, let's just have a good time. Nagad, I know you're a young mother. I know your time is
Hmm.
valuable. I'm going to respect it. So, anytime, whatever time that you're able to give us, I'll take. So it's gonna be on you. So we'll just talk until we can't talk anymore, and we have to go. And it is pretty late too, so you know what I mean. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that
Okay.
late, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
it is in the evening. So first and foremost, I want to give you a chance to tell everyone about yourself. Who is Nagad? What are you about? And I
Oh,
know there's
that's
videos
a
out there.
mhm.
And I'm actually gonna post while you're talking. I'm gonna post your video on the comments so that people can actually have it, and I'm also going to
Mhm.
pin it to the comments later on. But
Okay.
yeah, go ahead and tell us about yourself, Nagad.
Okay, so who is Nagad? That's what started this whole thing, like this whole mess that turned into
Hmm.
something so beautiful.
Hmm.
Right now I'm a 25-year-old woman. I have a son. I'm married to the love of my life. I live on an acreage in the hills of Quebec and we're just happy. I'm happy. That's what I wanted to be from the beginning and that's what I am now. I'm happy.
That is amazing.
It
Okay.
was tough to get here though. Like I'm making it sound easy, but there's a lot of conditioning that I had to overcome, a lot of
Mhm.
long nights, a lot of, crying to my husband and yeah, a lot of healing.
Yes, yes, and I saw that video where you were talking about how your family treated you with your husband not being Somali, and all that stuff, right? And honestly, I kind of resonate with that because I have a I have a cousin that actually married another African man, believe it or not,
Hmm.
but just not Somali. But you know how
Hmm.
Somalis are.
I do.
If anybody does, and you do.
Yep.
Um, and the funny thing is, and that's something that I did not hear in your videos, and maybe I missed it or whatnot. But first and foremost, lucky like yourself, I'm not a Muslim, right? I'm not someone that's religious. I don't really subscribe to any man-made religion. I'm more of a spiritual being, right? So that's what, and the ancestors are very loud within me, and that's what I honor. Okay, so
Hmm.
just let's get that out the way right now. Um, the other thing is, when I looked at my cousin who was marrying someone from somewhere else in Africa, he was a Christian background, he was made to convert,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, I
we
never talked
understood.
about that. We never.
We
I
understood.
never talked about that.
Yeah,
I don't think a
and
lot of people know what happened there because I do have a story like surrounding
oh,
that. Yep.
we have an exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that's awesome. I mean, look, it's up to you if you want to get into it.
I don't mind. The only thing is like it's that when I record YouTube videos, it's so in the moment that I don't have time to go back and change what I say. And if I do, I'll forget something I said in the initial video. You know what
Got
I
it.
mean? So
Got it.
it's just about it joining my journey and hearing it like
Yes.
in the bulk of the content,
Yes.
But
Yes. In the now, I understand.
exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely. So, I mean, in terms of my cousin, just to finish off that story, is that
Hmm.
she was made to told this guy to convert, and I'll be very, very honest and blunt here, super fake conversion. Super. It was nothing coming from him. It was just really to please the parents. It was just to get the Somalis off her back,
Hmm.
if you know what I mean. And that's what he did, and he did that. And I said I even said that to them, like, well, what's the point of this fiasco? I'll give you guys a proper walk wedding where this matrimony will be respected and honored. It does not. You don't need to be converting and playing these games, right? And so that's something I did not hear from you, and so I wasn't sure if that you want to do the same thing or not. Again, that's something that's up to you if you want to share that or not. But yeah, what are
For
your thoughts on that kind of stuff?
I feel like I don't know, it's difficult when you leave. I don't want to be disrespectful, but when you leave the religion, like there's a lot of it that you look at from a parent's perspective. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like you kind of look at people who dedicate their whole life to it and, hurt themselves for it and you feel bad, so you don't want to contribute to more pain. So in
right.
my case when that was brought up, like converting, for him to convert, I was for it. I was 100% for it, although I was not fully in the religion and I was
Hmm.
not believing it, and he, didn't believe it either. We were
Hmm.
for it because the goal wasn't to prove a point. The goal was peace. So
The point was congruence with your family,
exactly, I was willing
fusion
to make the
essentially.
sacrifice. The only sacrifice I said I'm not gonna make is leaving him. But everything else, like I was like, okay, I'm up for it.
Okay, so
I'm
a,
not a fighter.
you were
Like I'm
willing,
not a
yeah, you were willing
fighter.
to, yeah, you were willing to
Because I
appease.
understand, like I feel like we need to give our parents some more understanding. Like
Hmm.
I wouldn't even know what it feels like to have to to have to flee like the country I was born and raised in, and then to come into a country with all these foreign concepts that you're not used to. It's
Yeah,
like it's just we have to understand that, and we have to.
and it takes time to
It does take
adjust.
time because like
Hmm.
right now my parents like well my mom doesn't hate me, like it just takes time
She'll
and you
never
have
hate
to
you.
exactly, you just have to spoon feed it to them.
Hmm.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
there are elders. We have to respect them.
oh,
So,
absolutely, absolutely, and that's how we were brought up, right? That's how
mhm,
the way we're brought up is to actually respect our elders, to actually respect and honor our ancestors, and the point is not that,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
So I think the what I was kind of wondering is, either it's always a tug of war, right? When
Mhm.
it comes to these types of things. So, and our culture, imbued in this religion, also sometimes doesn't bend, right? It doesn't bend.
Mhm.
It leaves no room for bending. Even though, like, I'll be honest with you, like my family is very open minded. Most of my Somali friends are open minded, and they know
Mhm.
what's up. Um, but the thing is, like, there's this thing that they all feel like they have to adhere to,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure who's controlling that thing. I'm not sure who's calling the shots on that thing. So when I call this channel Free Somali Minds, it's exactly what I meant. I meant that as a Somali, I don't have to divorce myself from my Somali anymore to actually live my truth.
Mhm.
And I kind of sense that from you too. Am I wrong? Because I kind of sense that the same thing from you.
It took me a while to understand that, but you're not wrong 100%. Like I was thinking about it today too, where it's like we're so like the excitement you felt when you saw my channel, like it's like we're
Yeah,
so conditioned to not there is a controlling like there's a controlling force, there's a brainwashing going on. And when
right.
you can sense it in other Somalis when they're free thinkers. It's so obvious. So I agree, like there is that that control, but I honestly don't know where it comes from. I think it's fear driven, but at the same time, I feel like we just have to like, I don't know, we just have to accommodate it because it's not forever because we don't have it in us, right? It's
That's
just
so
about
true.
awakening one mind at a and
Yes, and and I mean the way you're doing it is amazing. I love what you're doing. I love I've consumed a lot of your videos now. I Because I kind of, because like when you find out something and it's like, oh, you get that really, okay. And I started watching it and I'm like, yo man, I gotta talk to her. I gotta talk to her because that's the thing. Because I, I when I think of my Somali people, and I'll be honest with you, okay, like I went through a whole thing, whole journey where it was from, and that's why I call myself new nomad, right? We come from nomads, but
Mhm.
we are in a new, we're in a new reality, if you will.
Mhm. Mhm.
So to me, it's kind of like I can honor my past and also not disrespect my future and kind of live it the way I see fit, and
Mhm.
set that up the way I see fit. Do you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like right now, you have you. First of all, congratulations to you and your husband on
Thank you.
your beautiful baby.
Yeah.
I'm sending lots of love and vibrations, good vibrations to you guys. It's amazing. It's an
Yeah.
amazing journey.
Yeah.
I have two boys myself,
Wow,
and
congratulations.
yeah, so I completely those are my real bosses. You understand? Like, and everything that I do, I kind of do it with them in mind
Mhm.
because I started giving a shit about the world when they were born. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh
Not that I
wow.
didn't give a shit about the world, but I say, oh, now I have to protect this little planet, make it
Mhm.
like a safe place or a decent place for these people that I just brought into the world,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know how is and I know you have all these videos, so a lot of the questions that I'm asking Nagad guys, she has videos on, but
Yeah.
this is a candid conversation that I wanted to have with you. So
Mhm.
how has motherhood changed your perspective, if at all?
Motherhood changed my perspective. First of all, my birth changed my perspective on life so much. Just
Hmm.
the thought of like, just having the thought and then seeing it come into fruition that I can do this alone. Like I don't need medical professionals there. It's not a medical emergency. This is something natural. I came from a whole lineage of women who birthed this way. My grandmother birthed the way I birthed, like just first of all, starting with that and deciding that like this pregnancy is going to be sacred. I already felt like the being that was going to come through me was like important. So
Mm,
instantly, like just knowing that like I have this huge responsibility, my transformation started as soon as I found out I was pregnant. Cause I'm like, damn, this is real life, yo. Like it's real life. All of these years where I held myself back or I was afraid of sharing my real truth, like the thoughts that are in my mind. And like the perfect example is me sharing my spiritual journey, like a whole 50-minute video of, personal recordings. And it's nerve wracking to do that, but when you see that your child is here and it will affect him, like I
Hmm.
want Somali to mean something else when he's a little bit older, at least. And I'm not the
Yes.
only one that's fighting for it, which is amazing. Like, I have so
Hmm.
many amazing friends online that are just like me, so many women that are just like me that are Somali, like it's just about time. Like you said in the beginning of the podcast, like the internet is connecting us and
That's
we're
it.
realizing that there's so much more of us and eventually we're just gonna be the new norm. It's just the reality. It's tough to live the other way. It's just tough.
That's it. That's it. Furthermore, it's got to make sense. It's got to make sense to us, right? It's got to make sense to where it may like we got educated. We come from families. We have this whole like lot of ancestors like behind us, backing us up. Our ideal or ideas or our thoughts have meaning. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And it has some sort of it has a meaning where we can put that now out to the world and we say, no, man, Somalis are not just that. Like there's a variety, and here's my contention, right? Look, I'm a very proud Somali person, but when I think of my people, I feel like we're still living as nomads in our heads. And I'll tell you why. Because as nomads, if you're my wife and we have kids and everyone, we have to think the same way. We have to believe the same way. We have to do the same things because our survival depends on it. You understand?
Wow, I never thought of it that way. That's a good point.
Right? So our survival depends on it. And now that we're living in these new realities, I'm sorry, I mean the Horn of Africa is the cradle of humanity as far as I'm concerned. And that's where we come from. Our DNA is shared with most of the world, but now we're spread out into the world, right? And now we have new realities. Now we're learning new things and new ways of doing things. To integrate that does not mean I'm leaving my soul, which is
Hmm.
Somali. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So we are essentially reinventing what it means to be Somali. So we shouldn't be thinking the same way we were thinking back then, which
Yeah.
I think sometimes we do. I
Hmm.
don't know. What do you think about that?
I think that when it comes to, okay, because if we're being honest, I'd like to think that a lot of people can relate when I was awakening to like, there's more out there than just being stuck in life. Like there's more out there than, no offense, than, you know, organized religion. There's more out there. I felt like I
Hmm.
had to, or I was pressured into turning my back on my culture. And in doing that, I seeked answers that I should have been looking at Somalia for in in new age spirituality or in like chakras or in yoga and so many things that is like the foundation of humanity is East Africa. So if I
Yep.
want to know what source did, if I want to know source, I have to go to East Africa. But my mind, like I had that anger towards my people, and I feel like it takes time it takes time to accept that like just because you had a bad experience with the Somali culture doesn't mean the Somali culture is the devil. If anything, it's the closest thing to the truth for you, for your DNA, for your, for your heart, right?
That
So
is so
like,
well said. Yeah.
yeah, so like when I realized that like my ancestors were like I was hating my ancestors because I hated my culture, but then when I
Hmm.
realized that my ancestors were were alive and well long before Islam was introduced, long before all of these misconceptions were a thing, long before I was imprisoned by these ideologies of today. Like Somali Nima's been here for so long. So when I tapped into like, let me see what my ancestors were doing before the people I think hate me, like let me see what was happening before Islam. I feel like that's when I
Hmm.
started to integrate Somali Nima to my life, and I felt like, okay, I can be spiritual, I can be woke, I don't have to be Muslim and Somali. It's not synonymous.
It's not. Do you see the background that we have right now, Nagad? Do you
The
see the
background?
background of?
Yeah,
Do you
I
see the
see that.
background of my
Oh
YouTube?
yeah, yeah, I see that.
So that's a 10,000-year-old painting in the Horn of
Hmm.
Africa.
Hmm.
I put this with purpose because what we're discussing here is that we're discussing a journey back to visit our ancestors, a journey back to tapping into what Somali Nuo means. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
Look, I have no disrespect to anyone's religion. That's not my point. My point is never to, and anything that I say, any criticism that I have of the religion that we were brought up in, is to basically say, look, I'm just countering what you're offering. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's a counter argument rather than an argument. So I don't want to really stress on that too much. What I want to really tap into is our Somali number, and how we can actually make that the thing that we aspire to be. Now, I want to read this comment to you, Nagad, and tell me what you think. Okay,
Okay.
bro from Brum. Also, I guess this peeps from the UK. Yo, isn't it like 3 a.m. in the UK? I don't know what time it is right now. But okay, big bro or bro from Brum says, "Hi guys, finally caught a live video. Welcome, Sir Duo. Okay, I too, and I too just watched Nagad's spiritual journey. Okay, video. I too felt the same way she does, and for me, Greek philosophy works for me. Listening to her was like listening to myself. It's true. It's true. Is free thinking Somalis are more alike than different, even if we reach a different conclusions. Want more better than I want more better than what was given to us. Welcome, Walal Nagad. You're appreciated. Congrats, my sister. New Nomad, great to be here and hear from you all. Oh, thank you, bro from Brum. That's a nice comment to you, Nagad. So there you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
I heard that a
Destiny,
lot. It's like
yeah.
I've heard people say like it seems like I'm listening to myself, or you said it in such a, because it's like it's just collective consciousness. We're all experiencing it, one way or the other.
And that's exactly it. And that's why I was so like, I was giddy when I was and I saw you. And honestly,
I
I
know
want to
that
start.
feeling. I know that feeling. I've had
Y-
content creators who are like, "Oh my God, like what? Did she really say that? Like she just took the words out of my mouth." I know exactly what you feel and what you mean.
yeah,
So whenever I hear that, I'm just like, "Thank God. That means I'm authentic. That means I'm being
that's it.
myself."
Yes, exactly. Your authentic self, and that's what it really boils down to, right?
Hmm.
I right now I'm trying to make a way of actually getting all as many YouTube content creators or just content creators that are Somalis that are free thinking. And honestly, I don't really care what your belief system is as long as you are putting like your Somali Nimo as the common denominator. And that's what I like to kind of preach, right?
Hmm.
I don't care if you're a Somali Muslim, a Christian, Waqi, atheist. I don't care what you, because I can't control what's in your head.
I
Well, like I can't,
agree. Yeah.
like this is the crazy thing to me. We are so like we're such. I think Somalis are control freaks sometimes. And when I say Somalis, you understand what I mean, because we are Somalis as well. But I'm thinking like the consciousness that we adhere to
Hmm.
oftentimes is this very rigid way of being,
Hmm.
right? But I
Hmm.
think more and more what's happening is that that's not the reality that I'm seeing more and more. And go ahead again.
I was gonna say, I think people are convincing themselves of it. Like they're trying to convince themselves of it, like that it is that way. It should be that way. It should continue to be that way. So
hmm
yeah, I
hmm
don't know. I think we're gonna be growing out of it very soon, like so soon.
it's going to be the growth is going to be exponential. I definitely agree with you on
Because
that.
the information is available. You have access to the
Yes.
information. First of all, let's just start with like religion is what is religion? Like let's start out with that. Why is it
hmm
even a thing? What's the point of it? What's the goal? Who's controlling it? Who benefits? Like we need to ask each other these questions because we have access to the information now.
That's it.
It's not just
That,
about listening to what happened years and years ago and just living your life off of it. You have access to so much information. But
that's a
that's
lot
what's
of
difficult
information
about the Somali Nima part is like we don't have access to our old culture. Like it's so difficult. It was so difficult for me to make that walk video. It was so difficult because
because there's
finding the
there's no
information.
information out there. Yeah, you're right.
No. And every information is just polarizing. Like people are just arguing about it. And I'm like, I just want to learn. So who can teach me?
And you know what? That's where I think we're coming in. And I think, and just to kind of put your heart at ease a little bit, I have a friend who's actually also, and I've said this many times, doing a PhD on converting gabais, like the Somali poetry, into written transcripts, so that we can
Nice.
actually share it and actually disperse it. Because a lot we're the nation of poets, right? So a lot of our folklore, a lot of our soyal, which means history, a lot of our all of that is locked into gabai or poetry. You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
So if we were able to kind of get that the wisdom that's in those gabais or those that poetry into written transcripts, it can be dispersed far and wide. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm
Mhm.
just waiting for her to kind of. I'm reaching out to her to see, okay, let's see where your work is at, and I kind of want to support her in that too, and kind of see how we can support each other, man. Like we've done so much to each other as Somalis. We've killed each other. We've maimed each other. We've hated each other. It's time to finally love each other, man, and rise together. And I don't want to be preachy, but like that's where my head is at.
Mhm. I agree. I agree 100%. And I'd love to support her too. So I'm
Absolutely.
curious and excited because it's like that's the every single religious text is just that, a bunch of gabes together. So let's just
Mhm.
learn from our ancestors. Like the best way to learn about yourself is to like learn about your parents, right?
That's
So the
it.
best way to learn about yourself deeper is to learn about your forefathers. It's just the way it is. Like nobody can tell you about yourself but yourself, and they are you.
That's it. And
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think a lot of times we're not new. We're not net new.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean
Yo,
by that,
oh my God, it took me so when I realized we were not new, my whole mind changed because I'm like, we're here for a purpose and it's just to be slaves to God. But when I realized our civilization was here long before and we're like the foundation of a lot of belief systems today, like East Africa or just Africa
yep,
in general, it's so mind-blowing. It makes you feel powerful,
absolutely.
like, yeah. But
No,
sorry, yeah.
absolutely. No, no, no. Dusty Philosopher says, Salam family. Salam to you, bro. Been a long time. Haven't seen you in a while. Clan system was a way to survive in the harsh environments of the Horn. Okay, maybe. Safu said, just learned of the sisters channel earlier today. This will be interesting. You got some curious peeps. Safu's curious. All right, so let's see. Dusty says, this is the best Somali channel. Well, thank you. Well, thank you. I don't have that many followers, but thank you very much. Please go ahead and follow the channel if you're watching. Dusty says Somali Christian TV is straight garbage. See, there you go. Oh my goodness. Dusty says this is my type of Somalis. Okay, so do. Um, at the end of the day, what I like to do is ask questions to kind of get deeper into what it is that we're trying to communicate, right? So
Mhm,
Nagad, I'm gonna ask you straight up. When you are creating your content, right? When you're creating your content, what is I almost know that like, I know what I see of you because you're very clear eyed when you speak. You're very direct, and so it's obvious you're speaking from your heart, right? Like you're not,
mhm,
it's not scripted, and it's so obvious.
mhm.
What is Balakin? What is your purpose? What is it your
Yo,
purpose when you do that?
yeah. You know what? Like, I feel like my purpose is I'm just I like to think I'm an old soul, but my purpose is constantly being like people are constantly just telling me because for some reason I just keep forgetting. I've been posting YouTube videos for as long as I can remember. I'm currently turning 26 in December, so I'm 25, but I've been
Hmm.
posting YouTube videos since I was 16. It's just who I am. And even before I started posting YouTube videos, I would just film like music videos and I would film movies at home and I would
Mm,
edit and I was that kid who just knew what Windows Movie Maker was. It just so happened that I'm this person. It just so happens that this is my personality and I love to film
yeah,
myself. It's just
that's
that.
amazing. That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, so I mean, I'm sure that your purpose when you were 16 to
Mhm.
when you're now like 24,
Bro, my
25.
16 was hijab tutorials. That was the whole channel. Hijab tutorials.
You get that. You get that. Yeah, that's
Yeah, the cutest hijab tutorials, tags, like it was amazing. It was the best time of my life. I used to walk in
I
my high
love
school and I would have my friends say, "Girl, I did your hijab tutorial." And I'm like, "Yo, it was amazing." I had the best. Whenever I'm sharing my content and I feel like I'm
yeah,
helping people, it just feels amazing. Like, I don't know.
that's great. That's great. Oh man, that's amazing. I'm gonna ask you the same question, but
Okay.
Michael Jelani says, "So Malinimo means to me. So Malinimo means to me the freedom to choose one's own spirituality. What does Somalinimo mean to you, Nagat?
Oh,
If you don't know, I'm a Somali file, okay, which
okay.
means
What
I'm
does that
in
mean?
love with Somalinimo.
Okay.
I big up Somalinimo.
Okay.
And the reason why I do that is not from an arrogant place.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I feel like my people have lost themselves, and I'm trying to say let's find ourselves again. So that's
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why. Okay, so when I talk to you and we're talking about these things, a lot of the theme that's often going to come up was Somali Nimo. So what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to ask you is, what is Somali Nimo to you?
Okay, so to me, Somali Nimo, you know what? I honestly feel like, with like just going off of everything you said, I truly believe that's just the masculine energy that men bring to the world. Like,
Hmm.
not to speak on all women, but like when I'm like, I don't know, I don't like to think that I'm only giving birth to Somali Nimo. Like I feel like I'm giving birth to just like a new way of living, and it so happens that the way I'm gonna better the world is through my Somali Nimo.
Ah, got it.
Like what I have to offer. It's like when you go to a buffet, What
Yep.
I have to offer is my Somali nimo.
Oh, so you're part of the buffet. Got it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
But
No, but
yeah,
you
like
know,
that's what I
that's
have to
that's a
offer.
good
That's the
way. That's a good
healing
way.
perspective I have. Like that's the perspective I have to give the world. But I don't know. It's like when, especially being a diaspora Somali girl who, yo, if I try to speak Somali right now, it's just so embarrassing. I've been to Somalia a couple times, like I've growing up, like I've always known that Somalia is home, and I'd love to live there one day. But I don't know, the journey I'm in right now, especially as a mother, it's like it's just not at the forefront of my mind. But now that I'm doing a lot of ancestral work, I'm understanding what it means to be Somali on such a different level that like now it means the beginning of life. Like now it means the mother of civilization. Like now it means, like Kush
it,
and Kemet and all that.
it has its place now.
Yeah, exactly. That's
That's
exactly it. Like I don't
perfect.
have the pride that a man brings to patriarchy, but I just have
Hmm.
the appreciation. I'll heal you with the Somali nimo. That's what I'll do as a woman.
Mm,
That's what I have to offer.
that's beautiful. That's beautifully
Mhm.
said. And I thank you. Thank you for that. Wow,
Like, do you
that's
get it?
amazing.
Because it's like a feminine perspective. I'm not gonna be like Somali nimo,
No,
Somali dimo, bro. Like
are you not a woman?
I am a woman.
That's the
Yeah.
first. That's the perspective you're gonna bring. So
Yeah,
I thank
exactly.
you for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And as a man, I'm gonna have my perspective. And the thing is, honestly, these two things are not counter. They're complementary. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. It takes one to conquer and one to take care. Like that's war.
Exactly. Simple.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, bro from Brum says sorry for the typos. Yeah, bro. I'm sorry. There was a lot of typos, man. You made me read that shit. Sorry for the typos. LOL. I was typing fast. This is an exciting time, and I thank Nagad for courage. I know it must be scary. Your moral courage and new nomads, thank you, to pursue your truth gives me and many others more confidence to seek our truth. Much love. As New Nomad said, it is time we help and aid each other beyond UN rice handouts. That is true. Pardon my dark joke. It
Exactly.
was dark.
Yeah, it
But
was
yeah,
dark, but yeah.
was it, is it scary? He says, I know it must be scary. Is it scary? Okay.
Like it's scary at
Put it,
first. Like when you watch a scary movie the first time it's scary, right? But then
yeah.
the 12th time it's like you know what's gonna come. Like you know what to expect, you know what the comments are, you know what situations to avoid, you know when to close your eyes, you know when to close your ears, like so it's not scary anymore. But at first it was scary because I didn't know what I was doing. Like I didn't know I was creating the life of my dreams. I thought I was going to hell and it was just the path there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I vividly remember that feeling, man. And it's not a good feeling, is it?
It's like, yeah, you're alone, right? Like nobody
It's
can
lonely.
console you.
It's so lonely. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yet but it's the fact that you're torn within yourself.
Exactly, because you don't want to do this. You don't want to be that person. You don't know what's happening. Like you're just like, what's going on? Why do I feel so alone? What is wrong with me? Why can't I follow the rules? Why can't I do what everyone else is doing? Like, and I would tell because I don't know if you know this, but my husband is not Somali, so he's Haitian, and
Hmm.
we were together before my family knew, and there would be moments where like I would get really dark. Like I know I have to be happy and I'm in love, but I would
Hmm.
get dark, not because of myself, not because of him, because of the fear, because of the worry, the disappointment, the moments where my whole life I pictured when I find the man of my dreams, everybody's going to celebrate for me. But the reality wasn't that, and it hurt so much.
And deeply too, because it's your blood, it's your family.
Exactly. And I don't blame them because obviously, like right now, if I think something is dangerous to my son, I'm going to put everything on the line to protect him. Everything. If I believe it's a threat. So, to be fair, they believed it was a threat, and I can't blame them for that. They're like, it just shows me that when shit hits the fan, I know that they're
Mhm.
gonna have my back. Again, hopefully,
Yeah.
if
No,
they
don't hope. I
understand me
mean,
more clearly.
no, but the thing is, it's taking the sting out now. It feels like there's so
Hmm.
much information out there, and the more people like yourself,
Exactly.
like myself, speak
Exactly.
out, it takes the
Yeah.
sting out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because I've been literally told that they would cut off my head. Like it's people online, online people have
Oh,
told me
whoa. Yeah.
they would, like, and I'm not sure what kind of hate speech or what kind of hate you encountered.
I
But
encounter a lot of hate, but YouTube, the way that YouTube comments work, people don't know this, but they think I'm liking comments because I'm so woke. I'm liking comments because when you like the comment, it disappears off of your app. You don't see it anymore. So whenever I
oh,
see a comment that's low vibrational, I just like it right away. I'm sending love right back to that person because it's so clear that they're talking from a place of pain because I'm not in pain and I don't do that.
that's so wonderfully said, man. Wow. Okay, so that's exactly it. So for someone to have energy to hate someone online, their life is not in order.
I've
They're
never
not.
done that in my life
Yeah,
ever.
they're not good inside. So
Yeah, so it's like, am I really gonna allow their their comments to affect me or even enter my consciousness? As soon as I feel the negative energy from it, I'm sending you love, bro. You need it. You
that's
need it
it.
more than me.
That's it.
Yeah.
You definitely need it. You
It's not a
definitely need
fight, you know? Like there's no war, nobody's winning. It's not like, "Oh my God, he got, you got it. You got her." No one's paying
it.
attention,
No,
unfortunately.
no one gives a shit. That's so true. Well said. Well said. No, that's true. But then, what you said about the scary movie, I resonated with that because that's so
Mhm.
true. Because once you've seen it, I remember us back in the days, I'll be like, "Yo, I don't want to be this, on this platform and talk to these guys because they're all gonna turn on me. So what's the point, right?"
Mm.
But then one day, I'm like, no, what I wanted to say was much more like the impulse was much more powerful than that fear. And fear is what it is, right? Fear is like false evidence appearing real. It's not
Mhm.
true. It's something that just paralyzes us for no
Mhm.
reason. And fear
Exactly.
is the reason why a lot of people don't do the things that they feel they should be doing, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Um, I feel that if it's done with respect, I can follow my path and my journey as
Mhm.
respectfully and as possible. And that's it. For me to follow my path does not mean disrespecting others. And like, it
Mm-mm.
doesn't, those two things are not together, right? So
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you think the same of following your own path and how important that is?
Just speaking off of experience and common sense, I have never watched a YouTube video talking about, I don't know, like, what am I not interested in? I've never watched a YouTube video talking about Judaism. I don't look
Mm,
for things that I don't align with, you know?
mhm.
So when it comes to, like not like offending other people, people shouldn't be watching things that don't align with them. You need to have knowledge of self.
That's it.
If you have
That's it.
knowledge of self, you're not going to be commenting these things because again, I don't do it. Do you do it? Do you go on
Mhm.
people's stuff and like watch content you know you hate that raises anger and comment anger?
No, I comment on your channel, and the comments that I leave usually are big enough and raising the frequency because
Exactly.
that's how I feel. I feel like when I raise of the frequency, it's like in some like you live somewhere far. I live somewhere. I live in Ontario. You live in Quebec. I essentially we are all in the same country, but we don't live in the same area code. And yet, what I'm saying is, I feel and I truly believe that by I want the very best for you and your family, and by wanting that, I know that it affects directly affects my children. I know that
Wow.
all a
Hmm.
raising tide raises all boats. So why would
Hmm.
I want anything but the best? Like
Yeah,
I should love your child as much as I love my own.
I
And
agree. Hmm.
that's the only way things make sense to me.
Hmm.
That's the only way things make sense to me.
Hmm.
And I think just kind of sharing that love and sharing how we perceive these things raises the frequency, the collective consciousness. And this is the reason why we are encountering each other. This is the reason why I found other, content creators that are Somalis or, that are going to speak on these things. And you said something in this video, the last video that I was watching, and you said that you were tired of hearing things from people that didn't look like you, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And you don't understand how much I resonated with that. That
Hmm.
was like, yes, exactamo. Like that's exactly what I'm about as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I want you to kind of go in on that a little bit and explain what you meant by that.
Well, again, like after I was disowned and kicked out and all of that, and I left Islam, I found refuge in like I say new age spirituality, but like what I mean is like you know what I mean, like the new
Yeah.
wave of things, like the whole namaste, yoga,
Hmm.
stay woke, that whole thing, right? So I was
Hmm.
learning a lot of things from it felt like I was learning a lot from a bunch of different religions, a bunch of different cultures, but from a surface level. And somebody who's cultured like myself, I
Hmm.
know what it feels like my melanin, like I know what it feels like to be culturally appropriated. It feels painful. It feels like you feel confused. You're like, part of you is like, I don't deserve to be upset. And then you have a whole like identity crisis. That's why it hurts a lot of people. That's why there's like a whole uproar when, people do cultural appropriation. So as a
Hmm.
black woman who's experienced it, when I felt like my spirit felt like I was doing it to a bunch of different cultures, talking about Buddha in ways I didn't have any business talking about Buddha, talking about yoga like it isn't a way of life and it isn't all consuming, like it's not just exercises.
Hmm.
I went through like just a dark period of time where I felt like I'm looking at these people, these gurus, not only these gurus, these women who are like encouraging me to for me to be liberated I have to show more skin, when in reality it's like being naked, yeah, is amazing, but in a bati is like it's more, that's modest. You're still getting the benefits of fresh air, but you're modest. I don't have to wear a crop top to reach enlightenment. I don't have to wear
No,
booty shorts or buy like a t-shirt that says enlighten off of Fashion Nova to be enlightened, right? So like I felt
that's
like I was
it.
getting those messages from these women because it wasn't authentic. So when I stopped connecting with that and I started to try to find truth within myself, something about me was just like, ask about your grandma, ask about your grandpa, ask about life before. I just would have constant conversations with my mom about, like what did Awowe do? What did Ayeyo do? What did that Ayeyo do? Like I was just constantly having all these conversations and I was learning so much about myself. And I was like, damn, that's what I needed. I needed to
Right.
ask us, not other people. It's the colonizer mentality that gets new age, like it's the colonizer mentality mixed with the consumerism of feeling like you constantly have to buy crystals, you constantly have to buy all these outside forces that just confuses people because it's not authentic. It's like it's Eurocentric. It's dominating. It's like you pull from other people and you're just trying to benefit off of it. So when I started to look
Hmm.
within and look into my culture, it just was the biggest change. It was like so different. So I said it. Like I said what I said. I don't like listening about me from people that don't look like me. I don't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's and you know what? You don't have to either, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah. I
a
didn't
lot
know
of
I had
time.
that choice. I didn't know I couldn't. I didn't know. I thought I couldn't. Like I thought there was no option for me other than that way.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And once you come into your power, and you understand that, hey, wait a minute, I can do this. I can actually be like be the change that I want to see. Like I definitely want to be that, right?
hmm
I want to help people and get them to at least share what I know, right? I mean, I don't pretend to be a guru of anything or anything like that, but just having this conversation, right, with you and sending it out into the ether. And first of all, I want to say thank you, but I also would love to have much more in-depth conversations later on if you're up to it. This is just our very first conversation, and I just really wanted to touch base with you, get to know you, and all that. But I'm wanting to collaborate with you a lot more on different topics as well.
hmm
So I'm just gonna say that right now, just so I don't
hmm
forget,
Okay.
because once you're able to just share and have that conversation, you don't understand the amount of people you empower, the amount of people you actually touch, the amount of people that you actually make,
Yeah, you don't. I don't. I never do. I just read it
yeah,
in my comments sometimes, but I don't know the impact. You don't know.
you
You,
don't. and
yeah.
and that's the thing. We have to do this, right? This is what we have to do. We have to be able to to find our force within, to find that spirit within that is resonating all the time, that's always thumping, right, like a drum,
hmm hmm
to basically say, "Yo, man, the same way I'm gonna talk to my people. If I talk to my people with respect, and I truly tell them what I think, and how I see things,
hmm
there's going to be two outcomes: people that take what I'm saying or agree with it, and there's going to be people that don't agree with it.
hmm
Just because there's people that disagree with you does not mean that you don't have to speak up,
Yeah.
right? You got to speak up. You got to speak
hmm
up. You got to speak up. So uh, you are speaking up.
hmm
And honestly, with what I the other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about is the duality. When you're
hmm
Somali in diaspora in the Western world,
Mhm.
you have these two identities that you're always juggling, right?
Mhm.
How did you, you're a young lady, you're a young mother, coming into your life now, and all that great stuff. How, like from little school to high school, university, whatever. How did you juggle that? How was that duality for you?
Oh, for me, it wasn't that difficult. Like my parents ran a Somali school when I was young.
Hmm.
Um, and then in high school, every single year I took Somali classes. It being Somali was such a huge part of my identity, and it was
Mm,
such a huge reason why I was so connected with Islam at the time. Like when I was young, it was the reason I had this hunger of knowing. I always wanted to know. That's my problem. Like it's not a problem, but
that's not bad
growing
at
up, I
all.
heard it was a problem. Like I asked too many questions. I have too many, like objections. I make it more difficult than it has to be. So it makes sense that I was like the only one, growing up that was seeking knowledge. And I thought the only place I could seek knowledge was through Islam because that's all Somalis are. Well, that's what I thought back then. So yeah, it was
That's
just,
yeah.
yeah.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. And essentially, the reason why I asked that is like I personally went to French school, right? So a
Mhm.
lot of my good friends are Haitian, right? And for a big time, like I used to speak Creole like
Yeah,
fluent.
everybody does. Everybody
Yeah.
does. I went to French school too. Like the Haitian
Yeah.
culture just dominates. It
Yes,
dominates.
because I grew up in Montreal as well,
Oh
right?
my God. Whoa.
So
Okay. Yeah.
that is, little Haiti, if you will, right?
Exactly.
Port-au-Prince. And so essentially, I remember my very first two friends were like in Montreal in middle school were a Haitian and a Lebanese.
Uh-huh.
Those were my very first two friends, right?
Mhm.
And I always kind of felt like, okay, when I went to, I felt like because I'm black, right, and this is in little school, mind you, and I wanted to, I was, I wanted to, I love rap, and I kind of embraced that culture. I embrace that. I wouldn't even say it's Haitian; it's African American, but you know what I mean. Like I just kind of embrace that culture. And then later on, I kind of all I'm saying is that that duality afterwards, once you come into yourself, then I started propagating my thing,
Yeah,
and
you
my
don't.
thing
Mhm.
was, yo, man, I come from a nation of poets. I kind of started bigging up what I was and how where because I also, right, much like yourself, had parents that Somali Nimo was a big thing, and Somali we spoke Somali, Adiwan Hazma, like it was not something crazy, and that's when it's kind of like I think the we're answering our own question here because our parents kind of gave us these things, these tools, right? Or at
Mhm.
least these intuitions, we kind of came into ourselves a little quicker. I feel like that should be something that is more accepted in our community. And I say community with quotation marks because I don't know if we have much of a community, to be honest with you. We were lacking that. I think personally, that's what I think. We need to work on that a little bit. So, what
Mhm.
are your thoughts on that?
On like how I integrate both.
Yes.
So, like, are you asking me if I have like habit soda at home? Like, do I do that stuff? Do I? It's like it's just you know what? Like, it's just who you are. I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't isolate my Somali number and tell you whether or not it's there.
that's it. That's it.
But when my son is sick, the first place we go to is Aya's house, and she's taught me. I'm ready. Okay, this is the perfect time to say it. I'm
Yes.
gonna be compiling like every single remedy that my mom teaches me from because we're holistic people. Like we don't believe in like modern medicine, and my
Hmm.
mom thankfully is on the same page as me. So when it comes to healing myself or healing my child, the people I go to are my husband because he's a healer or my mom, right? So
Right.
my
Right.
son recently had a fever, and as soon as he had the fever, I'm cooking and I'm thinking about Hoya. I'm like, dang, bruh, like it'd be such a perfect time to go to Hoya's house, but I don't want to, exhaust her because Kamal is actually sick. Anyway, as soon as I sent
Mm,
that thought out there, my phone started ringing, and she's like, bring him to me now.
wow.
Exactly. So when we went there, she taught me
Wow.
everything. Like she taught me everything. Like when they say yes, the tribe gets passed down through the man, or the last name gets passed down through the man, but the culture resides with the women. So
So very well said.
like
That's so
you, I'm
true.
sure you, I don't know, I'm not trying to judge, but I have reasons to believe that maybe you wouldn't know what to do. I don't know. Do you know any Somali holistic remedies? Like I don't know. So
You
I
know what?
don't
Okay, okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna I'm gonna say this. Let's be playful for a bit. There's something called sambur. Do you know what that is?
know.
Okay, so like they would actually they would actually just make you purge. It would be a purging thing, right?
Okay,
They would
okay.
make you purge, and they believe. I'm saying they, but I saw my grandma do that, right? She did that to my sister, and I remember she would try to do it to me. I ran away. I wasn't having it, but like she would make you purge, and purging was a part of a ritual, and it was a holistic healing type of thing, right? So their approach would be that. But if you're asking me, no, Nagad, I wouldn't know what to do. You're
Okay,
right.
well, yeah. Well, I'll have
Yeah,
a
you're
book
right.
on it hopefully eventually because my mom is
Oh,
like
that's nice.
she's huge on like holistic healing and even in Somalia she has a garden full of like, mullein and like so many healing herbs and soursop and all that. So it's going to be exciting to just learn how to heal that way because I don't think there is much information on anything out there when it comes to Somali, like being Somali. But
That's
yeah,
true.
so I do incorporate both, and I truly believe it's important for my son to know his Somali Nima as much as it is important for him to understand his Haitian culture. Because if you
Of
just look
course.
at both countries, like the
Of
first
course.
country to get rid of slavery, 1804, back then, the Haitians, what they did, the Haitian Revolution, insane, like out of
That's it.
body experience. And then you look at what being Somali is, the obstacles we overcame, and being
Right.
nomadic, our resilience, like we don't stop. We don't stop. We look for the gold at all times. So it's like I just need to ensure that like both of those cultures are not only being respected, but like I want my son to feel comfortable in both settings.
In both, exactly. In both, because
Exactly.
what?
Why
Screw
not? I
the
don't get
yeah.
it. Why
Why
not?
would you have to decide? Why do you have to decide?
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
that is very true.
Yeah. But going into it, it's like, especially like if we're being like transparent, when I was young, I didn't see myself as someone who was not Somali at all. But when
Hmm.
like God doesn't, I don't know, I just don't believe God sees things like that. Like it's all about experiences. Experiences can there's a reason why I was born and raised in Canada. I was set
Hmm.
up to experience this experience. I'm supposed to be the girl that has this story.
Ah, okay. How so? Go that into that a little bit deeper.
Basically, like I believe that like every single human has a story. We have our
Hmm.
own journey. It's like that's what you go through. Whether everybody's going through obstacles. Everybody's has wisdom to share, and if you don't share your wisdom, it's just that like it's just gonna be empty. It's just that there's nobody that can come and take your place. That's what I'm trying to say. So like
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
I think I see what you're saying.
it's
Okay.
just
So
like yeah, that's who I am.
that well, yeah, and no one can tell Nagat's story except Nagat.
Nagad. So there's only gonna be one. Like I can say, like I had the comment the other day that I was like, "What? Are you another Ayan Hersey?" No, she's been here and she did her thing. So I'm never gonna be Ayan.
Oh,
You know
you
what I
had that
mean? Like,
comment. Yeah.
of course I
What
had
What
that
do you think
comment.
that is? Why do you think people
I don't
usually it's low
know.
frequency people that like low
I
vibration
just
people that are you this? Are you following who? Such as for me, it's oh stop trying to be Adan or just stop trying to be a Western. I'm like I'm not trying to be anyone but myself. Like
that's
I'm not
exactly
trying.
the reason why I'm speaking.
Exactly. That's exactly why I'm speaking. That's why I'm talking. That's why I'm sharing. The thing is, the truth is always in the middle, right? And we all have a window to it. So think of the middle of a building, and we all have windows looking into that. We each have our own window. So we each have our perspective of that truth. The truth remains, though, right? But we each
Hmm.
have our own perspective. So
Exactly. Yeah.
by talking to you, Nagad, I'm kind of like coming over and taking a peek in your view, your perspective, the way you see things, and you're
Hmm.
doing the same for me. You're kind of seeing how this new nomad guy sees things, right? This is a good. The more we do those types of exchanges, the more we actually do those types of transactions, if you will, the more we're going to actually learn about ourselves. I swear, when I see people like like yourself, um, and I think Safu was talking about someone else, modern day Arawella. Yes, Safu, I did. I did speak to her as well, and I'm gonna have her on. I'm gonna actually invite her on, see what she says. She is in Rwanda, so I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll try and make it work. Essentially, a lot of these different people that I'm trying to reach out to. The reason why I'm doing that is kind of like to set up the Somali mycelium, if you will, like to kind of have the network grow.
Mhm. Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because today it's me and you. Tomorrow it's gonna be like 14,000 other so-sos that are discussing this like it was nothing, like it was just chill, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
Whereas
about representation.
exactly. So it's about representation in numbers and just kind of having these conversations. A lot of times, when I first started, it was a lot of what do you call it? A lot of stonewalling was done, a lot of accusations, a lot of you have betrayed us, a lot of that's the energy that I was getting, right? That's the energy that I was getting online, at least in the conversations that I was getting into. And then I said, screw it. I'm done talking with people that are just not getting it. I'm just gonna basically have this little channel, which is a little humble thing, but like I do it a weekly podcast where I just kind of just share what I think and how I
Mhm.
view things, and the people that resonate with it, and the people that don't, then don't. What I
Mhm.
notice is that I'm getting more and more positive feedback than I am
Oh,
negative. So
wow,
I'm
that's good to hear.
yeah. So it is it gets better, it gets better
Yeah.
and better and better. So but what have you encountered in your journey, because you've been doing this, you said, for the past 10 years.
Yeah. Well, yo, it's I can't yo, it okay, this is the perfect example. I've been doing it for so long, but my channel is only 3 years old, you know? So
Mm.
yeah, I went through like a whole like a situation where I shared my story of me being disowned. And obviously I don't want to get into it too deeply, but what I'm comfortable sharing is that certain people didn't like it, and they did what they deemed appropriate and took down like years of content, and it's
What?
just exactly. So it's like I feel like the universe or source or God like was like, okay, girl, you need to feel the pain once. Let's make it hurt once. Because after that, do you really believe that I'm starting my channel from zero? Do you really believe I'm gonna be, so caught up on like what people have to say about me at that point? Like it's like I came back with a vengeance in a way. So
Hmm.
I just for a minute I saw red. I saw red. So when it comes to like the comments, I don't remember it being bad because not only do I not pay attention to it being bad, I
Hmm.
don't care. I have a point to prove now. Like I have to get
Okay.
back to more subscribers I had before. So it was like pumping out content, like video after video with a vengeance. It's like, thank you for doing that. I needed that because I was afraid. Now I'm surviving. Because again, it
That's
was like it was
amazing.
a form of
That's
income.
amazing.
That too, like, in the streets, when people get rid of your income, there's consequences. But it's because it's little old Nagad, it's not, there's no consequences. So I had to come back fighting stronger, the Somali way.
Yo,
Like I
man, I
had
love
to
that
fight.
spirit. Yeah, I love that spirit.
So no,
Because
it
that's the
didn't.
thing. Yeah, they try to knock you down, but you came back stronger.
Imagine, sometimes I think about it, I'm like, imagine I just canceled everything. I was like, I give up. Imagine. And I'm just sitting
Some
here.
some people would have, Nagad. Let's be honest.
I
Some people
felt
would
it.
have.
I
Yeah,
felt it. I did feel it. I had
and
those
it's a
thoughts
real
in my
feeling. Yeah,
mind.
it's a real feeling. Yeah.
It's hard, like, you had like 16 or 17,000 subscribers. Next thing you know, you're at 100 again, and you're just like, 90% of those people were subscribed for years. Like it's difficult to get back. But now I'm at 40K, and it's like, wow,
That's amazing. That's
better than what
amazing.
I wanted before.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know what that feels like, but to me, it's kind of like I just want to see how the hatred and animosity, when redirected and reshifted, can actually make you blossom. Can actually make you,
Exactly.
you know what I mean, come
Exactly.
into your true self, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing, right? You have fans already. You got yes, Nagad, you're finally here. Shout out to the 603. Okay, I'm not sure what the 603
I don't
is,
know either, but
but that's a number. It's a random number from said lead.
maybe
But
she means
yeah,
613.
maybe.
Yeah.
While Queen said, yes, we need more representation. and we
Mhm.
need to create social spaces to come together. What do you think about that, Nagad? I wanted to ask you about that. What do you think of social spaces to come together? Do you think that's important, or do you think that's just something that's going to organically happen?
Before I was a mother, I didn't think it was important at all. I was like, yeah, I don't care, honestly. Like, I don't care. Exactly. It's like when I had my child, I cared more about the betterment of society, you know? And I truly believe I have a very strong intuition, and
Hmm.
intuitively I just see it. I just see it. Like as soon as I got like a direct message, I was like, okay, there's something that's going to change in the world. And I feel it. Like I feel that we're going to come together because the amount of messages I get of people that are like, I can't believe there's other people like this out there. I'm like, there are, like, there really are. So the fact that there's like we're gonna have this community, and that if anything, my subscribers are gonna learn about your channel, and then they're gonna see the other episodes you posted and meet the other people you met, and like it's just it's the beginning. This exactly what you said is what we're doing right now. We're having a social, gathering. We're having this gathering virtually, yes, but
Yes,
it's
I
happening.
know.
So it is important. Or else, what's the point? Of what's
This
the
is
point of
true.
me crying all those nights if I'm not gonna help someone with it?
Oh man, that's yeah. It must have been hurtful. It must have been hurtful. But from that, you rise. Right, you rise from that, and
Exactly. And like you said earlier about the scary movie thing, it's like it's hard to remember what it was like. Like sometimes I'm like,
mm,
dang, I want to help this girl, but I forgot what it was like to feel like I was, worthless. Like I forgot what it was like to feel like because I'm not Muslim, I'm burning in hell. Like I forgot what it was like to have that fear. I forgot what it was like to think my ancestors hated me. Like it's
mm,
just I have to constantly remind myself of like, okay, I have to tap back in to help. Yes, I healed, but I need to, go backwards and say, okay, guys, this is how I did it. Let's go. You know?
that's amazing. That's amazing because, but without that, do you like? I don't think because you had a decision to make, right? When they try to break you, I'm gonna say that just like that because that's what they try to do, right? Because they wanna. Misa Aman said, "I remember when your first YouTube got deleted." Okay,
Oh,
so it's
see, I
like,
told you they're still here. Like literally, my people
yeah,
are still with me. That's
there
it.
you
There's
go.
no way. I don't care about that channel.
So, do you think that had that not happened, I mean, I think you would have just taken a different course. But sometimes I think we need to be, pushed just to see how we react. What do you think about that?
No, because I don't think so because I was already non-Muslim before I got kicked out.
Hmm.
Like I already knew what was happening. I would look my husband in the eyes and say, when they find out, have you heard of World War One and Two? Yeah, like the trilogy. It's happening. Like I'm like, you just need to know that I'm ready. Like it's gonna be tough, but I'm ready to fight this. Like it was a very clear conversation. I knew it was just about time. It was about time. And when I was pushed at that point, it wasn't even like, you know what? I think the reason why it was so wholesome, it wasn't that I was disobeying my family for a man. It was for my freedom. Because I told myself at the end of the day, whatever happens between me and my husband, like whatever happens, I fought for my freedom. I'm not going back.
There you go.
It was
And
just for freedom. Like it wasn't like trying to, yeah, anyway, I think I got my point across.
oh, and then some. But fear is like toothpaste, right? Like once it's out, you
So
can't
you
put
just
it
gotta
back in.
handle it. Well, you just gotta deal with it.
Yeah, you can't put it back in. You know what I mean? You
Mm.
can't put it back in. So, and by the way, Nagad, there's a new word that I like to kind of make famous. So I don't know if you can help me with that. Because we are Somalis at the end of the day, and like we have certain things that we say, right? Like we have
Mhm,
certain vernacular that
mhm,
we say. So
mhm.
whenever we're trying to make a point, what do we say? And like kudara wala, what do we say? We say wallahi, what?
Yeah, wallahi, yeah.
We say wallahi.
Yes.
I'm changing that. I'm changing that now. So it's now gonna be wallahi.
So you believe that, like, so wait, you believe in the
I'm,
Waqf tradition? Do you believe it's truthful? Like you believe it actually
no,
happened?
no. I believe it's our
Okay.
mythology.
Okay. So you're
Yeah,
just switching the word. Okay.
but I mean, it's going to be a part of our vernacular, anyways. Why not? We're going to be doing it anyways. We're going to be saying these words anyways. So it's just a little tongue in cheek comment that I wanted to make, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, snap! Okay, we're going to use that from now on."
Yeah.
Wallahi. But yeah, no, I'm just joking around. I'm just joking around. But at the end of the day, what I said to myself in my own personal journey was
Mhm.
that I looked into to these things, but I actually like I really delved into Islam first, and I kind of learned about it, and I just couldn't find myself in it. You know what I'm saying? I just could not find myself in it. And it's fine. Like I just cannot find myself in it. And then I got to know about WAP and all of that. So I said to myself, because I don't believe in like religions per se, I believe in spirituality. It's something that I believe in. I believe that we're all made out of the same things, and we all just have different interpretations of what that spirituality means, right? I'm
Mhm.
just saying, WAP was just the way my forefathers looked at things. Okay,
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not saying this is truthful. I'm not.
Mhm.
That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if I'm gonna believe, or if I'm gonna go with anyone's crazy, I'm gonna
I'm
go with
going
my
with my people's.
ancestors.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with my people's crazy, not
Mhm.
anyone else's crazy. You understand what I'm saying? And that's to
Mhm.
me, that to me makes more sense. It makes more sense to me. You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So that's what that is. Um, Nagad,
Mhm.
we've been talking for an hour, and it seemed like it's 10 minutes. We've been talking for an hour. I want to give you the opportunity to tell me if you're good to go on or not, because I don't want to.
I can do 10 more minutes and after I'm
Okay,
gonna tap out.
beautiful. That's amazing. Thank you for that. So one thing that I wanted to ask you is when you talk about like, are you a naturopath? Or are you because you talked about healing, right?
Yeah, well,
What
I'm yeah.
give us the cold notes. Give us the cold notes because I want to know what are you thinking? How are you seeing that to unfold?
Okay, so first, the whole thing started for me. Okay, I wouldn't say I'm a naturopath or I'm a holistic healer or I don't have any like claims at all. But for me, what like started my spiritual awakening was changing my diet. As soon as I cut out meat and I started eating more clean, I started to see the cleaner I ate, the cleaner I thought, the cleaner I saw, the cleaner I felt. Like it was just a life change. And then for me, my mom, growing up and seeing my grandma go through her health issues and then seeing my mom find raw veganism and find her own paths of holistic healing, it was like already set in stone for me. Like I would wake up in the morning and she would already have made a shot for me or a green smoothie or a
Mm,
shake for work. Like she was just on it constantly, and I'm so grateful for that because I feel like that's what allowed me to she didn't it's crazy because it's like she didn't realize how much she was helping me, but she was helping me hurt her, which hurts me to see that, like it's like the
how do you
good,
mean?
clean food, because, not everybody wants to be like rudely awoken by an 18-year-old girl, like telling her
Yeah.
about life, like there's ways I went about it that looking back at it now was obviously out of line because I didn't understand. I was so young. Like there's a lot of things I regret, a lot of conversations I could have had differently. And it's crazy because it's like I associate it all back to my spiritual awakening, which was started with food. Anyway, I was in
Hmm.
Somalia and I was on like a cleanse because I was vegan in Somalia. Could you imagine that how difficult that was for me? At
That's
some point
hard.
I had a breakdown at some point because the thing is with Somalis, it's like veganism is one thing, but they just don't understand the concept. And just a quick
Hmm.
story to explain that.
Hmm.
We're at a restaurant and
مقاحل.
yeah, and the guy there, my dad, like, this girl, no hilib at all. And he's like, perfect, we have basto with sauce, we got her. And then he's like, emphasis on the no hilib, and he's like, yeah, it's just tomatoes, the sauce is just tomato sauce. I eat this pasta comes, I'm eating and I'm like, this just tastes so different, but it's good. Like, it's not bad. So I'm just enjoying it, and it's like when you're eating pasta and it has the tomato seeds in the sugo still.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are these tomato seeds looking like this? There's something about these tomato seeds that look
Oh,
different.
you thought it was tomato
I thought it
seeds.
was tomato seeds, but it was camel meat. I've never had camel meat before. Like I went to Somalia. This is my second time there. The first time I wasn't vegan and I said no to camel meat because I was afraid. I don't know. I've always had this thing where I'm like, I just personally don't like eating meat. I don't know. But the second time I went there, I had camel meat, and the emotional breakdown I had at that table when I
Oh
found out
my!
I had
Oh,
camel meat, because
okay, tell me how you found out. And I don't mean to laugh again. I'm
no,
sorry,
it
but
is funny looking back
I
at it because
just know my
obviously,
Somali people now. Oh,
exactly,
I'm a
yeah,
vegan, no meat. Hey, we give her gill. Give her.
exactly. That's
What
what
the
it
fuck?
was. Like my dad had to call him back and be like, "What? Yeah, hey, like we told you." And he's like, "Like It's just in the sauce, and it
because
was just
he thinks hilib adi. He thinks like
exactly.
sheep and goat. That's what he's
Exactly. Add
thinking.
it on top of the plate. He's like,
Oh
"What do you mean
my
it's made with the sauce?
god.
Like, what's the issue with that?" You know, like looking back at it now that I'm grown and I'm a lot older, like, yeah, I over exaggerated a lot because in
Hmm.
that moment when I realized, I just felt it's like feeling like you were violated, like your trust was violated, hurts no matter what the
Mm,
circumstance is. So I
of
just
course,
felt
yeah.
like I trusted this man, and he gave me like something I just it was against my consent, so I just went to the car and I started crying my eyes out. I was just in so
Oh
much
no.
pain because I felt like I trusted it, and it's like you look back at all the times you should have known better. I'm like, dang, when you looked at it first, you should have seen that, you should have seen that, you should have seen that. Like, anyway, so long story short, when I came back
Wow.
here, I was like very on my spiritual, on my, no, long story short, while I was there, after that moment, I decided I'm not eating anything cooked at restaurants. And we would eat at restaurants so often. So I would always have fruit. And as I'm eating this fruit, it would finish before people's food would even be served. So I had so much time just observing people and observing, Somali people and observing the waiters, how they talk to people and all of that. So when I came back, I'm like, you know what? I love how I feel when I eat clean. And
Mm,
coincidentally, I met my current husband, and he is clean. Like I don't eat clean
mm,
today. Like I had a bagel this morning. Like,
hmm.
like I'll have pizza if I want to. I'll have French fries if I want to. I'm very liberal and open when it comes to it. But it's mostly because I trust that he's my healer. Like he is huge on health. He's huge on alkalinity. He's huge on like using nature to heal the human body.
Yeah,
And
I
he's
think.
healed me through my like labor. He was there with me
Mhm,
through labor. He healed me postpartum. I tore. He healed me with that too, with the bleeding, the swelling, like with all
mhm.
stuff from the kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah. So I
That's
think it's
that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing to hear. And you talked about alkaline, and I just wanted you to kind of touch up on that because the Rastafarians, for example, they have something called ital. Ital is vital, is what they say, right? And this the whole purpose is to keep your whole body
yeah,
alkaline.
eat living foods to live.
Hmm.
I know
Hmm.
about yeah, for sure. Yeah.
How about you tell the people a little bit about what alkaline eating means?
Okay, I'm not an expert on it because it's not my forte, but I'll
Hmm.
I'll explain it really quickly. So basically, there's a man named Dr. Sebi well, he passed, the late Dr. Sebi. He would encourage basically what he believed is disease thrives in acidic environments.
Mm.
Without acidity, there's no disease. And when it's that simple, you just have to be alkaline. Like there's just one word. You just have to go alkaline. And when you go alkaline, you raise your alkalinity level. So for me personally and for my husband, we're not 100% alkaline at all times because we understand that's healing. We know how
Hmm.
to balance it, like our as long as our daily diet is consists mostly of alkaline foods and we're intaking sea moss, and we're trying to hit our nutrients, because what's crazy, like the majority of, well, this is for Americans, the
Hmm.
diet is 69% processed foods, so you
But,
only get your nutrients from like 30, oh my god, my math, 39%, 31% is
hmm.
not enough,
That's true.
yeah. So when you
So are
see
you
when you
gonna be? Are you gonna be? Are you gonna be like doing like more research? Like, is that the because I know that your channel is about motherhood and all that good stuff, right? It's about motherhood and your, but is it really your journey in all aspects
Yes,
essentially
that's the
is what
thing.
you.
Yeah, because I have a Motherhood Diary series where I just share my vlogs and I just keep that one day a week so that I can look back at it too and help other mothers go through, motherhood and to know what to expect from
Hmm.
someone who's just, emotionally versatile, who can show her emotions and share exactly what it feels like and exactly what it means, and, all of that. But then also the other side of it is like, we have a podcast that we're hopefully hoping to share more episodes on that holistic aspect of it, because it's so huge. It's a huge part of my life, and I vlog about
Hmm.
it. I'm not openly screaming like, oh, holistic healing, but when you see me tell you that, oh, my son had a fever and I gave him, like I gave him black seed oil, or I gave him a bath in oatmeal, like it's like
Hmm.
you'll learn it that way.
Hmm.
So yeah,
That's
it follows my life in all aspects. Yes.
that's amazing. Misa said, Nagad, do more manifestation videos, please.
Really? I
So
did a whole series, girl.
it was
Oh
not
my god.
enough, yo. It was not enough. Do more. But when you say manifestation,
Yes.
Of course, I told you before we even started the stream that I just came back from a
Oh
retreat.
yeah. Yep.
I'm not gonna get into it, Nagad.
Okay.
I'd rather talk to you offline
Okay.
and discuss that with you, and then we can come and have a huge conversation on here. But you also had I watched your video today on how I think you did this a while back, but on your first mushroom trip and things like that, right? So
Yeah.
these are things that I like to also
Venture into.
venture into in terms of talking about, simply
Mm.
because it is Mother Earth trying to heal us, and that's what we have to kind of start tuning into in this new way of thinking. So it's not so much of I want to really dispel the way our community sees these things. You understand? Because I don't know if you know,
Yeah.
but a lot of our people are suffering from a lot of PTSD, man. Like, let's just be honest. There's a lot of PTSD in the Somali community because a lot of people came out of war, and that trauma was passed on from father to son, from mother to daughter, and vice versa, right? Like, it
Mm.
was passed on from the different generations.
Mhm.
So that trauma needs to be healed. And the thing is, learning about these things, is like something as easy as microdosing mushrooms, which
Mhm.
is something natural. It's a fungi. It's something that you're not processing it in any way, shape, or form. And you
Mhm.
put that in a capsule and you give it, and the amount of help that it can give someone. I
Mhm.
just want to, before we even get to that point though, we have to break down some barriers. Do you
Mm.
agree, Naga?
That what that we need to break down the barriers and make it more digestible, like for people
No, we
to.
need to break down the barriers and making people kind of look at it as a
Yeah, I agree.
viable option.
Mhm. No, I
You know what I mean?
agree.
Yeah, as opposed to like, because I can talk to you about my ayahuasca trip, and I can talk to you about my mushroom trip,
Mhm.
but when people don't actually vibrate at the frequency where you're speaking about, it gets lost in the sauce, doesn't it?
It does get lost in the sauce. Yeah, 100%.
So I would love to have you back on, Nagad. I know that you have to go.
Mhm.
Thank you for honoring me with your presence. But one thing that I want to discuss later on is basically that the natural pathways that you were talking about, dieting, and as well as ayahuasca.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm going to be doing a little bit of, I think I'm going to do a show just speaking about ayahuasca and going into, what I had experienced
Mhm.
and sharing that. So I'll probably do a video on that myself. But I
Mhm.
wanted to kind of have you on and just have a conversation. And, I'm not sure if you ever did that, but if you have any questions, I'll answer them then as well.
Okay.
So that's something that we can we can do at a later time. But first and foremost, it was an amazing pleasure for me to have spoken with you. I'm glad to have found you, and there's going to be a lot more episodes to come. So everyone, watch this space, and please, share the stream, people, and tell people to like, share, and subscribe. I have a modest channel, but honestly, the point of my channel is just to get this out.
Mhm.
And you know what I mean, nothing else. I do it once a week, and it's not
Mhm.
actually once every 2 weeks sometimes, because I get really really busy. But that's what I have, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to be offering. So
Mhm.
I'm happy you came on and you accepted my invitation to
Mhm.
come on and to have this conversation.
Mhm.
So do you have any words before you go? My God.
Yes, I do. I
Mhm.
feel like although I can't promise that I will be on again, but I do know a lot of Somali women who are online right now who are not only just like me, but some of them are even like it's so superior to me that it's like I aspire to be like them. So
Oh,
women
that's
like,
awesome.
like mommy Flo who has her company which is Glow with Flow, GLO with Flow. Or GLOW with Flow. So good. GLO with Flow, or even Miss Moose on Instagram. Like, there's so many women out here who are
Hmm.
Somali and outspoken, and you would be surprised. Like, my Somali Nimo is secondary to Miss Moose's Somali Nimo. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna connect you with these women too, because I think it's so important for us. Because not everybody relates to me, but we will relate to all of you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure
Hmm.
that there's more diversity when it comes to the people
Absolutely.
I bring forth for you. So I'm gonna connect you with those women for sure because I'm sure they have a different perspective to share.
That's
100%.
amazing. No, that's
Mhm.
amazing. But you know what? That's amazing. And you know what? This is only the beginning,
Mhm.
Nagad. This is
Exactly. Yep.
only the beginning. And Misa said, "Get Miss Moose on." And I have no, I didn't know who Miss Moose was until
What?
I don't. That's the
Miss
thing, man.
Moose?
Like
Do you know who
that's
she
the
is
thing.
now?
Well, because she came on the comments and she's like
Oh,
that's
that's
I
it.
really don't.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. So
you would love Miss Moose. She's
okay, so
amazing. She's very outspoken and she did a lot of like childhood healing, like a lot of inner child healing. She has a lot of knowledge to offer.
what?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot of conversation. Please, Nagad, if
And
you're
she's
able
the mother
to,
of a boy too. She's
that's
raising the next
amazing.
Somali generation with us.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
And you know, I had a episode on Somali parenting actually on Free Somali Mind, and it was really good. It was really good.
Hmm.
I invite everyone to listen to it. It was a good time. But Somali parenting is no longer what it was. You know, how you're throwing a shoe at you. There's a new there's a new set of
Hmm.
parents now. You're a
Hmm.
parent now, right? Like there's
Exactly. Yep.
new parents now, there's new ways of parenting now, and divulging that and kind of sharing that. I would love to give my advice from a father's perspective. I think I have nothing but respect for Somali women because there's so many more Somali women content creators than there are Somali men. Not that it's a race or anything, but it's just that I love to
We're
collaborate with the
teachers. We're teachers.
exactly
That's our nature.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
then I would love to actually collaborate with them and see both perspectives, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
because I'm raising two boys, and actually I don't say I'm raising boys, I say I'm raising men because I want them to be
Hmm.
men at the end of this, right? I don't want
Hmm.
them to be boys. So it's
Exactly.
essentially that, like, the ways we see things and the wisdom that I can impart in terms of from a masculine perspective and a feminine perspective, and those two
Hmm.
are going to be complementary. And so I would love for you to connect me with these people, and we'll
Hmm.
have much more conversations. But
Hmm.
yeah, but all that to say, I don't want to keep you too long, Nagad,
No,
but I
yeah, I
want
gotta go.
to yeah, I want to say thank you for joining me today, and all the best to you and your baby and your husband.
Thank you. You too. Thank you
Okay,
for having me.
thank you so much, and to everyone, thank you for joining us. And like I always say, so till we demo. Till next time.